Hello, good morning, good afternoon, or indeed good evening, depending on your time zone and depending on when you are watching this. It is Thursday, the 30th of July, 2020. I'm James Innes, and this is my YouTube show, The Jobs Guru. I'm delighted to have you here today. I extend a particularly warm welcome to all those who have subscribed since the last episode. And if you haven't yet subscribed, then please do think about subscribing so you don't miss out on the next episode. Today's show, the last for this week, I'm going to be talking about a particular article that's come to my attention in the week's workplace, jobs, careers and employment news, a piece from the FT, in fact. If you have any questions or comments as you watch them, do please type them into that comment section below. And if you like what you see, then please don't hesitate to give it that YouTube thumbs up. So as I say, I trawled through the week's workplace, jobs, careers and employment news and to pick out a piece which I thought stood out in terms of its interest. There have, of course, been more pieces this week about further job losses, etc., although it has slowed down a bit on that front. And this piece is kind of related to that. So it's from the FT, and it says the headline is, hiring in a pandemic isn't always as easy as it looks. What they're saying here is that obviously there have been massive job losses. Huge amounts of people have lost their jobs. So you'd have thought that somebody who is hiring, some of the few companies that are hiring, supermarkets, for example, are hiring, you'd have thought they'd have an easy time of it finding people. There's loads and loads of people looking for work. Now, yes, that is true, but conversely, the whole job market itself is actually kind of slightly frozen. Let me elaborate. The people who are already in jobs, secure jobs, are reluctant to move. And we saw exactly the same thing in the last recession, 2007, 2008, exactly the same thing. Immediate recession, immediate job losses, and people who are already in a secure job, already quite comfortable where they are, but might be thinking of moving on to progress their career, etc. Head down, ostrich mentality, keeping themselves safe, keeping themselves secure. People immediately feel very insecure when any kind of recession comes along, particularly one that's triggered by a pandemic. So for recruiters at the moment, it isn't actually that easy. Moreover, people knowing that it's such a saturated jobs market and that there is such competition, they're going absolutely all out in terms of their applications. So a recruiter who might have advertised for one customer service role before and maybe got in 20 odd applications, you could quickly sift through them and throw most in the bin, etc. Now they're finding, yes, they're getting maybe the same number, but they're all of a very high quality, making it very hard to differentiate between them, meaning they're having to bring a lot more in for interview. That's just one example. So many people out of work, it doesn't mean it's easy for those few companies which are hiring. So it has slowed down. We have had far few bad news stories, certainly in the past week, I think, than we have for the past several weeks. There still have been some, but there have also been some good news stories about the companies and the sectors that are beginning to hire again. But they are facing those particular challenges of trying to get the right kind of people. And those who are already secure and haven't lost their jobs in those sectors, as I said, they've got their head down and they're not thinking about moving on just yet. Now, if it goes anything like the last recession, which was over a decade ago, it will ease up in due course. It will ease up. People will start to feel a little bit more safe, confident and secure and think, right, okay, I was going to change job. I was going to move onwards and upwards. My opportunities here are limited. I knew I had to move somewhere else in order to get to where I want to go career-wise. I've been stagnating essentially for a year now. Now's the time to move. That will come. Obviously, I can't predict the future. Hopefully, we're going to get this coronavirus situation under control. And next year will be a better year. But for now, ironically, yes, you would think it'd be very easy for recruiters to find people for the jobs. No, it's not. So if you are thinking of moving on and you're thinking, oh, now is absolutely not the right time to do that because there's going to be so much competition. And I've said this in previous episodes, such a saturated job market is very competitive. Yes, it is. But still, if you do think for your own career planning, now is the right time to move on, go for it anyway. What have you got to lose? Knock up your CV, send it off, apply. There's nothing to lose. If you are entirely comfortable and happy where you are, then fine, all's well and good for you. But if you are thinking maybe the grass is greener on the other side, don't be put off by the fact that there have been such large-scale redundancies. If a company is hiring right now, they're doing so, that's a pretty positive step for them to be making. They're not going to do that unless they're pretty sure about what they're doing. Large companies don't just hire willy-nilly without thinking about it. So if they are hiring right now, then they are, there should be decent long-term prospects in that. Don't be scared. Don't be worried about the overall uncertainty. Go for it. That's my advice. So now, we're not far from the end of today's show. Remember, this show is Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday each, and pretty much every week, even when I'm on holiday. Today's Thursday show, so I'll be back next Tuesday. Before I go, a couple of... ringing my bell already. I'll get onto that in a second. A couple of things. First of all, do check me out on social media and connect, follow, or otherwise talk to me, but do avoid, would you shut up, please? Do avoid trolling me. On YouTube, do give this episode a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. Think about maybe leaving a comment in the comment section below, possibly subscribing. And if you do subscribe, then there we go, right on cue with that prop. Do think about ringing that bell so that YouTube can notify you about future episodes. Finally, what's happening in the next show? Well, next Tuesday, I'm going to be continuing in my currently weekly series I'm working through of interview advice, and I'm going to be tackling body language, which I think is going to be a particularly interesting one. I'm certainly looking forward to talking about it. And the psychology, I'm interested in interviews in general, the whole psychology, but body language in particular particularly fascinates me. So that's coming up next Tuesday. Thank you for watching today. I do hope you will tune in next Tuesday. Keep safe and be well, my friends. Goodbye.